7 o'clock, call this meeting order. All join in flag of our country. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Aaron is absent.
Yeah.
Acceptance of the meeting, minutes of 2/2. I have a motion.
Make a motion, we accept them as printed. Second.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the minutes of 2/2. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? 4. Open to public, first time around. Okay.
Okay. Last night I made a presentation at the planning board regarding main materials operation. I'm not going to go through the whole presentation again, but I brought you copies of my presentation from last night. I was required by the planning board to make a request to Randy Hall in writing. I've got that here. And then I've got a correspondence between Randy Hall and Richard Llewellyn at the Maine Municipal Association that I'd like to share with you. And I can just leave these with you. Basically, my point is that over the last 6 to 7 months, I've been requesting that the town require main materials to apply for a permit modification. I'm not asking that they revoke the application or permit, but that similar to what DEP did when they reviewed main materials operations on August 10th, they found that their operations differed from what they had presented to them in their application. The DEP application was basically the format that they used to present their project to the planning board on January 12th last year at the public hearing. In that, they said that they were not proposing nighttime operations except in severe weather emergencies where salt deliveries were needed due to severe weather conditions. They did not address the issue of 24/7 operations when they were unloading ships of salt. They didn't address the issue of the noise that was involved in that, and they didn't address the issue of lighting that was involved in that. And that meant that neighbors and abutters had no opportunity to address those issues with the planning board. In the correspondence that Randy Hall had with Mr. Llewellyn said that there were 2 reasons, this is the Maine Municipal Association, 2 reasons that the planning board could revoke the application or permit. And one was if they didn't have the authority to issue it. And the second was that if false information had been provided in that process and that information was material to the decision. Well, DEP found that they did provide false information. They didn't address the issue of the nighttime operations. The correspondence that Randy, I understand that the town hired an attorney for Randy to consult with relative to my request. And he also consulted with Maine Municipal Association's Richard Llewellyn, who's an attorney. In the materials that Randy had sent, he sent a package of information to Llewellyn, but apparently he provided that to Mr. Kelly, the attorney that the town hired. But then I reviewed that material, and it did not contain the DEP application, so they couldn't have seen that nighttime operations were not being proposed. And in the communication with Llewellyn, Randy mentions the nighttime operations, 24-hour, 24/7 stuff because of the need to unload salt. Well, they never talked about unloading salt in the whole public hearing process. So I'm requesting that the town provide the attorneys from the Maine Municipal Association and Mr. Kelly with a full record that includes the DEP application and DEP's decision and letter that they sent to them following on August 10th or August 17th about that the operations were different from what they had proposed. So that we have the town, the abutters and neighbors surrounding this facility have an opportunity to talk with the planning board about the impact that this facility will have or is having on their lives, businesses, and all. So I'll leave you with that information.
I'll distribute it.
Thank you. Any questions? I made this request to the planning board last night, and I got no response from anybody. They didn't say that they would consider this, or they would get back to me about it at all.
James, are you aware of what Randy, the information Randy put in?
No, I'm not aware of what Randy submitted to the attorneys. I have the folder on the top of my bookcase, so I will copy everything and
But
make
I
sure
don't
it
think
goes
it
over
can,
to
I
him.
went through that, whatever he said, this is what I sent to Llewellyn, well, it was
No,
what
I
he
have
gave to.
I have the original folder. I have
Well, as long as it
everything.
has the DEP application in it,
It does.
and yeah, it should also contain the letter that DEP sent saying that their operations differ from what they originally proposed.
I believe it does, but I'll double check that, and
Okay.
I'll make sure he gets a copy of all of it.
Because I think, yeah, how can an attorney advise, I mean, Llewellyn said that the planning board, based on what he was provided by Randy Hall, that the planning board made the right, decision was fine, that they couldn't be revoked. But it didn't have the information. So I make that request, and that's,
So noted.
somebody will get back to me about that.
Well, I'll copy it tomorrow, and I'll take it to Belfast and hand it over. I have no problem with
Okay, and you might point out that,
that. I'll copy what I take, and I'll provide it to you so you know what I've taken over there.
but I think, you need to point out to the attorneys that this is different. Their operations are different.
But James,
I would like to just have some sort of, resolution so that neighbors and abutters can actually live and the business can continue to go without this.
Yeah, we don't want to repeat.
Yeah.
okay, I would hope that when we get a response from the attorney in Belfast, that you would make that available to, I'm sure all of us are interested, but I certainly am, to know to hear what an attorney has to say once he's seen the whole story.
And one other comment. I understand that Ed Barra provided the town with some guidance around the ordinance issue. Well, when this first issue came up with Maine Materials last summer, I contacted Ed Barra and asked him if he would represent us. He said, I'll have to check. Well, he checked and he said either he or his firm represented one of the owners of the Maine Materials business, and he couldn't represent us. That he would have a conflict of interest. This issue relates to Maine Materials, and I think Ed Barra providing information to the town relative to false information being provided during an application process would be a conflict of interest for him to provide that to the town.
Yeah, I actually, personally, I wasn't aware of that. Meredith and I sat in my office, and the idea of sending it to Ed was hatched between us. Sent it.
Well, I would think Ed Barra would have
I-
been responsible
you
for telling
showed
you
me-
that his firm or he represented one of the owners of the
where
facility.
that would lie. I had no idea. I have no idea.
You showed me in the correspondence that he had sent back to you,
Right.
but
So
I don't remember.
I really didn't know. I still don't know for sure. So
Well, if Ed Barris had told Jay that he had a conflict of interest representing the economies, I'm surprised he didn't tell the town of Searsport he had a conflict of interest commenting on Maine Materials' relationship with the town. That seems very strange to me.
Well, and the fact that it involves false information being provided to
Yeah.
the town during an application process with the planning board.
I mean, that really isn't a conflict of interest.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Anything else? Now open to public.
I would just have a question. Does the town have a set attorney now, or is it just being farmed out on an as-needed basis?
You know, what we have been doing for the past 12 years is hiring attorneys with expertise in the areas that we need. If it's a title or land issue, you know, there's some attorneys that specialize in that. Municipal issues, there are a few attorneys in the state that come highly recommended from Maine Municipal to help us with that. And in trying to keep peace, if you will, we try to share that amongst
okay.
attorneys with the expertise. You know, if I was going to go to a hearing, like in front of the Human Rights Commission, there's a certain attorney I have in mind that I would recommend it would probably go to. So, but we do not have anyone on retainer, and we've done pretty well for 12 years. Prior to my coming aboard, our legal fees were huge. We ran to the town attorney for everything, and you know, we've done pretty well getting the expertise that we needed. And some of the things that we've used attorneys for have been extremely controversial, but I feel somewhat successful in the end. Especially, you've been through it.
I
so you
think
know.
it was money well spent with the planning board, yes. Thank you.
Anything else open to public? Item 7, old business. Acceptance of town meeting warrant. Discussion and action.
We did-
Anything to say about that?
We did discuss in workshop what the warrant needed to include. Everything's been included. The planning board did last night have their final meeting to discuss their recommended changes to the various ordinances under their purview. And there's one change under Article 39, since we've discussed it in workshop. Article 39, to change the site plan review ordinance, the page 6B3, change public hearing notice back to one published notice with additional information included. This is the additional. It was the one public notice, and then we've added with additional information included and to be posted at the town office and post office with an agenda. That came out of that meeting, and I think that was it. That was the only addition from that meeting. Dick, being diligent, found that there was an error to in the warrant. It's more than typographical. It was the general assistance number on about the fifth page in, fourth page in. On the original, raised by taxes was 20,000 with 5,000 in revenue. The real number is 15,000 with 5,000 in revenue. And he also discovered on Article 15, Article 15 had said that we were fulfilling year 10, but in parentheses it said 11. And I did the research. It is year 11 with parentheses 11. So all that's been corrected. As far as we can tell, we're good to go.
So the year 11 in
It is
parentheses
year
is
11.
correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Anyone on the board have anything to add to what James said?
Those are the only two changes.
Okay, I'll now call for a motion to accept the town meeting warrant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the town meeting warrant. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Four.
You need to sign, so I can get it in the book.
New business, item A, budget contingency vote.
The auditors have completed their work, and there were a few overages discovered in various accounts. They reported that we ended the budget year much better condition than we were last year. The total overage in our operating budget was $13,215. Of course, you have contingency of $20,000. Last year, our overages actually equaled $23,000, and we had to go to town meeting and request an article to cover overages in the transfer station as a result. So we've done much better. They were recommending that we cover the overages through the contingency, and that the remainder of the contingency be applied to the two trust accounts and the cemetery reserve account. Clearly, these are things that we weren't aware of. I will go through, if you want, I'll go through, the trust accounts have been deficient, had deficient issues for many years, and the reserve account went over 2 years ago when we made a mower purchase that we weren't aware it went over as a result. The breakdown of the accounts are as follows. The Selectmen account was over by $6.06. The administration account was over by $1,299.21. The town office, which is the building account here, was over by $350.30. The public safety building account was over by $293.10. The fire department account, which was the largest account that was over by $7,832.38. The streetlight account was over by $69.27. The hydrant account, which was the winner, it was over by $3. The harbor master account was over by $106.56. The recreation by $2,761.61. And I'll also say that, for the most part, is due to the lack of revenue, not extending. Holiday decoration account was over by $443.27. And the economic development account, $50.39. The principal for the H. Nichols Trust account, principal, which we don't spend, just been existing in the books as a negative number, is $497.14. And the Evergreen Cemetery Perpetual Care account, we're recommending $1,500 to be put into that. And the cemetery reserve account for the remainder of the reserve would be $4,787.71.
So your recommendation is 13,215.
For the operating accounts,
Right.
and the remainder of the amount as stated.
Just, why the cemetery reserve account? Is that over?
Yes, it is. Yeah, this is the
Over that much?
attempt to correct it. Yes, we would have addressed this in the normal operating budget, but actually didn't realize that it was over by that until the auditors brought that information forward to us. So it's an unexpected overage. As
Have any idea what put it over?
The purchase of the new mower was of a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, is what actually put it over.
Any other discussion?
We have a motion on this, on the
No,
floor.
yeah. I'm gonna ask for one. You've heard the town manager's recommendation on the budget contingency accounts. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Second.
And that's to accept the town manager's recommendation, right?
Yes.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to accept town manager's recommendation on these accounts. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Vote. Item 8B, proclamation of Searsport Maritime Heritage Weekend of August 6th and 7th.
This is just to officially acknowledge that this is what we're doing. we had a meeting with the Penobscot Marine Museum and other interested parties a week ago, and settled on that date. It is the there's never a good weekend in the summer in Maine that something's not going on, but this is the tail end of the Lobster Festival. So the festival in Rockland, most of their major events, including the parade, happen the weekend before, but their Lobster Festival extends all the way to this weekend. And from their website, it didn't look like there was anything that would be in conflict. So we're hoping to capture the end of that and maybe continue people coming to the coast. One of the things we talked about in the theme, if you will, is, you know, come discover your heritage, come to the coast. And it's so true with so many people who are associated with this general region. And we had a good response and are looking forward to another meeting. But we have to officially say we're going to do this, and this is the date. This is the date.
And the name.
And the name. Yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on proclamation that August 6th and 7th be Searsport Maritime Heritage Weekend.
I move that we make that proclamation.
Second.
Motion been made, seconded. Any discussion? And then I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? 4 votes. 8C, Historical Society Big Sale Town Meeting. This is permission. I was contacted by one member of the Historical Society requesting that this being an agenda item, allow them again this year to have a bake sale at town meeting. They do this every year for a little money raiser. So this is by request of them.
Make a motion, we approve their request. That bake sale.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to give the Historic Society permission to hold a bake sale town meeting. Any discussion?
I spoke to Buddy Hall last week. He was up here giving a cold snap, regretting every minute of it, but he was up here. I reminded him on the clam fish chowders, they're in on it, and they're gonna make the donation to the historical, to the Searsport Historical Society.
So they get the revenue from the sales.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That way they're not giving them to the town or anything, they're giving them to the Historical Society.
Okay, any more discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Vote. 8D, robotics team at town meeting discussion and action.
I think that's such a great idea.
The Searsport robotics team actually approached me a while back wanting to get on the donation list, if you will, the out-of-house accounts, but they were a day late in requesting that, and they happened to be in the office, and I recommended that they made a request that perhaps they could actually set up in the hallway and do a demonstration and put out a can.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of something clever. Firemen put out boots, you know. What do robots put out? But making that recommendation, I realize it has to be approved by the board to actually come and even though it's public, they probably should have your blessing to be there. So if anyone should ask, why are you here? They have permission. So
I think they should make a robotic cane.
yeah, well, I think I'm going to make that recommendation to them if you approve it.
I've seen that demonstration a couple of times. It's just awesome. I can't think of any more words. I'd love to do it, but I don't. I agree with James. It should be in the hallway.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the robotics team putting on a demonstration at the town meeting in the hallway.
Yeah.
Motion been made and seconded to allow the robotics team to put on a demonstration at town meeting. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Solar. Item 9, 11th hour.
There are no 11th hour.
Correspondence.
A couple of items in correspondence. The first is from the Department of Transportation. They will be here Wednesday, February 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. and to talk about the downtown revitalization. They're calling it the preliminary public meeting in Searsport. I'm hoping that they kept their notes because I don't want anyone to be upset. We've already done a lot of work towards getting this, but this is the official notice. And the second item is actually from our from Maine Municipal, and it's just making us aware that they will be doing a audit on our workers' comp funds, and that will be taking place on the 23rd of this month. So just making you aware when there's more auditors here. We're done the audit, but when there's more auditors here, because we're having our workers' comp fund, I don't expect there will be more than a couple of hours. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Item 11, treasurer's warrant. Do I hear a motion on that?
Move we accept the treasurer's warrant as presented.
Motion been made to accept the treasurer's warrant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Pending signatures.
Any signatures? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor? 4-0. Department head reports.
I think you received all of them, pretty much.
I do want to make a comment on police department report. I've got it here somewhere.
See it.
At our last meeting, a member of the public want to know the nature of the calls,
Yes.
and I see Chief Lay done a very good job this time breaking down the calls, what they were, how many, so that gives a better idea of, police activities. And there were 204 calls this month, though. And I'm sure that when he presents of the year-end report, we're going to see probably at least 2,500 calls, which is quite a bit for a town this size.
I think we were around that last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, busy department. Do I have a motion on acceptance of department reports?
So moved. I should say, I move that we accept the department
Second.
head reports.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to accept department head report. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? 4-0. Selectmen reports. Meredith, do anything?
Nothing that I can think of at the moment.
Doug?
Nothing tonight.
Richard?
Last selectmen's meeting, Suzanne informed us about a meeting going on in Belfast regarding drugs.
Mhm.
And I went to it. There was a couple other people from Searsport there. I forgot that we had a meeting with Perk. James forgot we had a meeting with Perk. He got caught going out the door, so he couldn't come, but it was a very interesting meeting. And it's a problem throughout Maine, it's a problem everywhere. But it was very, very interesting.
Did they make recommendations of things a town can do to help with the problem?
No, but you had the effect on the system. You had who's doing what to try to stop it and slowly back it up and everything. There was recovering addicts there, explaining how difficult it really is to get off of that stuff. I've had it touch my family. My grandson's without a father. I'm nephew that, because of back injury, through prescription, and he's been years getting off of it, they've been slowly winding it down, but I just thank God that wasn't going around when I was a kid, because in our gang, I know a couple of them that always wanted to be the leaders were then involved. It's unfortunate.
Anything else, Rich? I got a couple things. First off, I think it's well worth mentioning that yesterday, the 171st anniversary of the incorporation of this town. So, happy belated birthday to Searsport. The other thing is I promised the board, as things progressed on this Heritage Week, and I'd keep it informed. James and I did meet, like he said, with folks from the Provincial Marine Museum. One of the things they were planning this summer was a historic house tour. That was going to be in August, so they're going to do it that weekend. I also mentioned to them the fact that, probably 40 years ago anyway, the state sponsored some archaeological dives on a Revolutionary warship that's laying off the eastern tip of Sayers Island. It's a Brig Defense was the name, and she was deliberately scuttled over there during the Penobscot expedition out of Castine. So they did a lot of dives on her that summer, brought up pretty many artifacts, preserved them. Now they're in the custody of the State Museum in Augusta. So I asked the folks from the museum if they thought they could work out some kind of agreement with the state to get them on a loan and we'll come back to Searsport for a while. So they're working on that for us that weekend. Our town historian, Charlene, naturally has come forward, agreed to help. She's going to host a historic walking tour of downtown that weekend for us. Chief LaHaye, because he retired from Marine Patrol, spoke with him, asked him for a favor, and he has called me today to confirm that Maine Marine Patrol will participate that weekend, possibly with a vessel. Still a little bit more. I went to the Coast Guard office over to Belfast. They got a little port security office there. And they're going to forward me the information necessary to make, for James to make a request for the Coast Guard to come up and participate. Also, I talked to that local postmistress. In fact, I talked with Mark previous to this about what they call a commemorative cancellation. Is that
Yes.
correct term? You request a special cancellation for an event, post office,
Oh, okay. I've
that
seen
commemorates
those.
it.
Yep.
This lady down there, she knew all of them, she'd never worked with them before, she's gonna also get that information to me, so, things moved along, and, everyone I felt to so far had been more than willing to help, and, I gotta thank them all, they're terrific. That's all I have.
Wonderful.
That's a lot,
Yeah.
that's a lot. I got two things that,
Wait till next time.
I got two things that, from listening to you. That state museum out there in Augusta, if somebody has never been there, that's a very interesting
Oh, yeah.
place, very interesting. I've been out there a couple of times.
Yep.
And I enjoyed it, my grandson enjoyed it, it's very nice. The other thing, we had a ship come in here for one of our fleeing in the fall. And to me, a ship is a ship. I don't know one, I'm Army, I'm not Navy. But I wonder if it would do any good to run it by Susan Collins and see if a ship is coming up this way and could arrive in that. You're already one step ahead of me.
Yeah, the ship that came for the 150th anniversary was called the USS Grapple, and that ship has been since moved out of the Navy's fleet and into the U.S. Sea Lift Command. military sea lift command. And there has already been a request put in to perhaps get that or its sister ship to visit, because they are interested in coming to Maine. They wanted some bigger bang for their buck than just to come to the Lobster Festival. So we're throwing out to them that spend a week at the Lobster Festival and a couple days up here with us. And I believe that has actually formally been requested. So it's in the works. It's either the same ship or similar, and it's also recently become kind of famous, if you will, or infamous for its work on the El Faro. These are the ships that actually go in support of the Navy to find ships like that and to do salvage work, and it's operated through the Merchant Marine now.
I was thinking of the one that came to Fling into Fall, the Fling into Fall that the monsoons came on. Remember that one there? And it was out in the harbor. This is 5 years ago. We had one parked out there, and they came in to lead the parade. And Ray Webb said, "We did World War II, not you." And Ray Webb and his crew got in front of them, which was wrong. They should have been the other way, the active duty over. I don't know what that ship was. I think it's some
I don't
sort of
remember that.
missile,
I do remember there
a
was
missile ship or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the weather was so bad, they had some people coming in, they were gonna go to the variety show, but the weather was so bad that they weren't gonna risk it.
But we are working on one.
But
Any other selectmen's report? Want to move on? Okay, open to the public and the viewing public.
No calls.
Again, open to the public.
Jack, I'd be happy to handle that cancellation booth at the,
Thank you, appreciate it. Definitely put your
I think I
work.
can still figure out how to cancel a stamp.
No one will be turned down.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Frank.
Oh, there comes the viewing public.
Hello? It is.
I think I know who that is. It's going on so long.
I'll just mention one thing. I'll pass
Yeah,
along your
yeah.
decision to the robotics team.
I know it's
tomorrow.
complete.
Speak up a little bit.
I said I'll pass along your decision on town meeting to the robotics team tomorrow.
Right.
Does anybody know how much they would have requested of the town in funds if they had been able to?
Yeah.
I didn't ask. I know they're doing some fundraising now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Who's the contact person for the fundraising, do you know?
I'll make the board aware of that right now. Okay, Carol. Thanks, Carol. Bye-bye.
Colby.
That was Carol Pastana, a neighbor to Maine Materials, who's in complete support of us forwarding the paperwork, all of the paperwork to the attorney, and in support of what Jay brought to us, which I have for you. And she knows what's in there because I've made a copy of everything for her, so we'll get that done tomorrow. But she wanted to pass on her, support of Jay's moving this forward.
Anything else from the public?
Do you know who that person, who the contact person? I'll never mind, I'll find out
Tracy
later.
Colby.
Mitch?
Tracy Colby.
Tracy Goldman?
Colby.
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 Okay, Colby's wife.
James, is there
I
anything
think
else?
she's the one that's in charge of that part.
Item 15, I'll call for motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?